Mental Maps, sponsored by Metal Street Radio. Crank it up!
When you did write the songs with the band, were you kind of lyrically involved quite a lot, or was it more the riffs and the solos, or
Yeah,
how did they come about in your head? Like?
what we did quite simply, we'd finish a world tour and somebody would say, okay, you got to make a new record.
Yeah,
so
sure.
in our own time, we would put our own stuff down, myself and Glenn, concentrate on the music, coming up with as many musical ideas as possible. And Rob would go away and draft out lyrics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And at some point we'd go, okay, we've all got a fair bit of stuff, let's get together.
Yeah.
It was myself and Glenn mainly. When we felt we got enough song ideas put together, we'd pull Rob in, start working on it.
Yeah.
And it was just like prayer in a wing. It was kind of, there's no real set formula, but it worked for us.
Brilliant.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Stage one, get as many ideas as you can individually, because the other guys, if you walk into the room at some point and he's got twice as much as you, you're going to like to get a lot of stuff down.
Yeah.
And do that, work on that, maybe 4 or 5 songs, something like that.
Gotcha.
Have another break, go and put more ideas, come back together,
Yeah.
and keep it as fresh as you can.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, that's a great advice for any songwriters out there for sure. Yeah.
Don't all sit there in a room and say, okay, we've got to write some songs now. Okay, somebody start playing.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
When I'm writing songs, I find it quite, I can't sit down and write a song. I don't know if it's like that with a lot of people, but I'll just think I'll have to go through an experience or something, and then I'll be inspired to write, but I find it very hard. So I don't know if it's like that for a lot of people. I've got to kind of go through something to want to write something and have something on my mind. I couldn't just come up with something out of thin air very easily.
It was good for us because we had 2 guitar players,
Yeah.
and 2 guys. It was quite competitive coming up with ideas. I think that's what kept us pretty prolific, and obviously then we were able to bring Rob in.
Yeah.
It was a good formula, really.
Yeah, definitely. Brilliant. Yeah, and what do you think made Priest different to all the other kind of metal bands that kind of followed kind of around the same time? What do you think Priest had that maybe the others didn't, to make them so unique, kind of thing?
Well, yeah, I think that, depending on what period of time we're talking about, but obviously we had exactly that. We had a pretty good songwriting team. We were certainly, we were fortunate to have Rob, obviously with his ability, because vocalists like him, there's not many around, is there? Obviously we've got the incredible Ripper Owens. Ralph Shapers, another great, with big range. There's lots of other good singers around, but certainly for Rob and Ripper, really, and they were seriously durable. We never blew gigs because the vocalist got a bad throat. And these guys are going out 5 or 6 nights a week, and they were tough. And I'm thinking, I've got to say, these guys, even they were my heroes. Being able to go out there and do that. We used to feel for them, thinking we're kind of on 5 in a row now, and I'm looking at Rob or Ripper putting the stage clothes on. I'm thinking, these guys are good.
Yeah, and is there a process, that you saw anything in common with them both, how they maybe preserve their voice in between shows? Do they not talk much, or?
I said the guys did look after themselves,
Yeah.
and I think that they knew that they had to, really. So it's important to, look after your voice, really. You start going to the bar with the lads and chugging it down. You're going to be, you can't do that without talking. It's like, the guys were very good and getting plenty of sleep.
Quite a lot of discipline, I guess.
Yeah.
Would you say they missed out maybe partly because I guess you could go out and have a drink after the show, and whereas they might have had to stay in, and is there like?
Oh, well,
Or do you think it's
we're,
quite equal?
we're fortunate. We had a couple of guys that were in, pretty solid relationships, so they didn't have the need to,
That's good, yeah.
they weren't. There's times I was in solid relationships, but it is what it is. You're out there, you're thousands of miles away from home, and you have to. It's kind of difficult. It's difficult. It was difficult for me a lot of times to go to my hotel room and think, okay, I've got to get to sleep now.
Yeah.
It's already like past midnight.
Yeah.
When I know there's other things going on in the hotel.
Yeah.
It's like trying to go to Las Vegas and go to bed. It's 11 o'clock. No, but have you seen what's happening downstairs?
Did it have any impact on when you had to play a show the next day? Like, would you really be feeling, oh, how am I going to do this?
Yeah, it was murder at times because obviously a lot of times you might have an hour's sleep before the bus left or or the transport to the airplane, but you would catch sleep wherever you could, if you're on a bench in a park or a airport or a taxi going to the airport, you just get cat naps wherever you could, and if you could, by the time you got to the hotel at the next town or city, you got off the plane or whatever or the bus, if you got into that bed for like 20 minutes before you had a show to go to the sound check, it was like heaven, but lots of times you get to the gig, you do the sound check, pass out in the dressing room, it was all about that. It was hard. It was hard, but that's the price you have to pay for staying up and partying.
Metal Man, sponsored by Metal Street Radio. Crank it up!